my greasy crest. These are land crest. They're creasy crest. They're doing really good. I got this plant from the 99-cent store. It came with roots and I just put it in the ground. I've been pouring out all kinds of seeds over here. You can see this is a bean plant that's growing here, so I'm going to put a stick next to it because it's obviously going towards the light, so I'll put a pole over here so it'll have some light. These plants will need shading as the time passes because this is kind of a sunny spot, and if they grow long enough, those are turnips and radishes all growing around here. And over here, this is my oh Lord, I'm doing a brain fart. This is a legume that I like to grow. People sprout it. I'll think of the name later. Those are my pumpkin rinds that I put in the garden as a mulch, and that's grass that I pulled up. It grew as a weed, and then I used it as a mulch. Those are my broccoli that I've already harvested. Probably wondering why I'm not pulling it up. Broccoli is a perennial in my area. It will sprout shoots from the bottom of the plant with the sunshine that it gets there and give me next year's plant. I don't have to plant them again. That's my boysenberry bush. It grows all around the garden. I use it to deter slugs. You know, when they're crawling around trying to get to something, they run into the boysenberry. Sometimes the brambles are a joy. So you'll see brambles all throughout everywhere. It's boysenberry. And this is my rose. It's a yellow rose. It needs way too much water for me, so the only time it looks halfway decent is when it rains. So you see the new pretty foliage from the rain and the old foliage because it hadn't been watered in maybe 6 months. But that's neither here nor there. I think I showed you. This is my blue Solanage leek. This is the last one I had. I had 5 of them, but I guess 3 of them didn't make it in the winter. Maybe I planted on top of them and it was just too deep so they couldn't grow through it. That is a weed that I eat. Those are dandelion greens. And right over here, this is the plant that you will see coming up in all my tutorial, my recipes. This is the leaf of the rat tail radish, and in the Asian store that's sold as Asian mustard greens, and I am eating it as such. That's the boysenberry plant. I need to shape that up, but I got to get stuff planted because after I get stuff planted, I can always shape up. You know, there's no time constraint on that. This is another rat tail radish. They are going to seed now, and so that's the only food I have in my garden for the bees, besides my chrysanthemums. My chrysanthemums are giving me a few flowers here and there. Now I'm going to show you the lettuce patch. This is full sun for sure, and you see my radishes are growing there. I have a wild rabbit in the garden, and they eat the creasy greens and the mustard greens and my legumes and peanuts and stuff like that. But God bless my garden that I seem to have enough. These are my red romaine lettuce. I've showed you those before. I just planted this pinks, old-fashioned garden pinks, so that I'll have some pretty smells that will blend with my smell from my lemon tree. On my bush here, the thyme's looking, because it's a perennial, it's looking pretty fancy right now because everything else is just, you know, just a few lettuces. And there's some more red romaine lettuce. I have surrounded the red romaine lettuce with my tansy lettuce, and the tansy lettuce grew from seed. Actually, I let my lettuce go to seed. The birds eat the lettuce seed and they dribble lettuce seed all over the garden. That's why my garden looks the way it does. This is the way you get plants when it is naturalized and planted by the birds. You can go back and watch my old garden videos. You will see birds. I showed the birds eating the food, and I told you that they were planting my winter garden. They planted lots of Russian kale. I have a ton of English red celery. That green celery is a red celery. and I planted these myself. I started them from the garden, but I will definitely let them go to seed this year, and the birds will feast off of all that variety of lettuce seed. Over here, there's some romaine that don't look that good because I just transplanted them. They weren't doing good in the other spots, so I transplanted them here, and I wasn't watering them, so I lost a lot of the outer leaves, and then I decided to water them, so now they are coming back. So I'll have a little bit more of that. Here's more of my Chinese mustard greens. These grow, I don't have to water them at all this time of year, so they're only requiring a little mild summer water. I do grow my grass. That's why you see the grass pulled up there. This is California native grass. It doesn't require any additional water. It comes up when we have rains, and it dies back when I don't water. So, well, actually it stays a good while. It's a very drought tolerant plant. I'll keep it by letting it go to seed and then pulling it up so that I always have some green manure for my garden. It's not much, but it's what I can do. Here's a bed of tansy lettuce, and it has everything that the birds ate in my garden. They planted this whole thing. It's got rat-tail radish, it's got Russian kale, it's got tansy, and then it's got a carrot. That carrot is going to seed, and you're probably wondering why I'm leading it. I want flowers, so I don't pull things up when they're about to flower, and I love flowers from the carrot family, but I do eat this greens, and it's really sweet right when the plant goes to flower in the winter time, so I've been eating it. I hope I haven't killed all my buds because the plant's getting bushier now from me eating it all the time, so I hope I'm still gonna get some beautiful carrot flowers and carrot seed. Over here, some more tansy. Again, these were planted by the birds. And this is my sweet bay leaf. Oh, I love putting that in my food. If you watch my cooking videos, you'll see it often. Here's something in the parsley or carrot family. I don't know yet. There's some kale that's coming up there. This looks like cilantro, so it's probably something in the parsley family. Oh, it's chervil. That's probably chervil because I planted chervil over here. Let's take a look at this pot. Looks like it's full of grass. Like I said, I let my grass grow out so that I can turn it into a green manure. And there's some other stuff in there. This looks like, I think these are what the beginning chervil looks like before it comes up and makes the seed. We'll see for sure later on. This has asparagus, but it needs to be transplanted. It was giving me these nice long canes like that, but now it's not. It's just giving me these short canes, and I don't need to fertilize for the lettuce and everything, so I will be doing a video showing how I transplant this. I grew it from seed. I got that one there, and oh well, life goes on. But I had to, oh, there it is. Look at there. There it is. No wonder I couldn't see it. See how tiny it is? This one stays. And I will plant some more asparagus seeds, put them in this pot. They require no additional water from me in this pot. They grow just fine in here. When it rains, they come up. Let us carry on. Yeah. Guys, that's about it. Everything else, I'm doing seeding videos. Waiting for my butterfly, my red bean to flower out. I see it's got leaves on it. It overwintered. That's my cilantro patch. I did harvest it. And these are my collard greens. I harvested those because I did a St. Patrick's Day meal with those. So I harvested them up to the very top. And the strawberry bed here is doing good. I ordered some new strawberries, so I got a new strawberry bed coming. Really excited about that. I did harvest a lot of leaves from this one as well. You see how you can see the naked stalk? If I wasn't harvesting it, it would be a bushy plant, or it would have gone to flower at this time of year because it's a little warm for it. I planted from seed over here as well. And let me see if I can point some of them out for you. This really thin one here is a carrot seed. These are like chervil and anise seed. Then these right here are either calabash, cabbage, or Brussels sprout. And then this is probably a Brussels sprout over there. That's what I got planted. Now the leaf on that looks kind of unique, so I think that's probably a flower, because I did put some flower seeds over here. And I see some little cabbages coming up too. There's definitely a purple cabbage there, and I'm hoping that's a flower seed. My marigold managed to make it over to the next year. I was so happy about that, because at least now I don't have to grow any marigold seeds. You know, there's not a big rush on that. There's another cabbage. I guess I should show you my tomato here. The tomato's getting longer. The weather's not really warm enough for tomatoes yet, but this tomato's like, because I guess it's on this concrete, it's feeling like once it hit the concrete, it's feeling like it can do pretty good. We had a lot of rain after not having hardly any, and the tomato looks a little waterlogged. There's one of my blueberries back there. Looks like it's losing its leaves for the winter, and as soon as it loses them, it'll probably grow them right back. I have another one there, because we just had 2 weeks of cold weather, and that blueberry lost a few leaves. But funny thing, it lost leaves, but the actual cane that it's growing on has grown longer. I don't know what that brown stuff is on the wall, but I'm not gonna let that worry me. Blueberries are quite resilient. Here's another blueberry, and that blueberry is starting to get some nice buds on it. So it lost all its leaves from the cold, and now it's getting them back. And here you can see my bunch of leeks here. These are some leeks I got from Home Depot. They're just called leeks. They're sold by Annie's, and I got those because my leeks, the blue Solanaise, won't flower in my area, and I really want some beautiful onion flowers. What I'm showing you here is my raspberry patch. Yeah, from that from our 2-week winter, it did get the chill hours that it needed, and it produced fruit. Whereas these are my vintage raspberries. These are brand new for me, and they didn't really lose any leaves. I don't know if they're going to flower out for me. If you look over here, that's California miner's lettuce and parsnips growing with my oregano. And you can also see my vintage raspberry cane growing over there. I don't know if that vintage raspberry is now growing in that, trying to grow in that dirt or not. And my rosemary is barely making it in the corner there. I have not done very good with rosemary back here, and my gardener puts poison on plants in the front yard, so it's very frustrating, but you know, we'll make the best of it. This is my mint patch. People on the East Coast and in the South are always saying what a weed mint is. As you can see, my weed, my mint, my pepper, my spearmint, which is good for your digestive system, I have to struggle to keep up with it. You know, it's not a weed here. If you don't water, you don't have weeds over here. And this is my Matador spinach. It is a perennial in my area. It did not go to flower for me last year, but it grows so well, I divided it. You may have seen that video already. And I was so happy that something grew to the point where I could divide it. These are some kale, but I don't fertilize over here very much, so their leaves are really, really tiny, but they are cute. And I divided the spinach, the Matador spinach, and it is right there as well. That's one of my divisions. And over here is my lemon balm. That's a nice relaxing herb. You make a tea out of it and it relaxes you. This is a plant that just grew wild. I thought it was a bean, but it's not a bean. It's definitely a perennial vine. But I like it. You know, it makes my garden look green all the time, and I kind of grow it around whatever I can. It's pretty to me. The birds must have planted it, or it's some seed that I planted, and I have no idea what it is. There's some more spinach over here. Oh, I didn't show you my lemon tree. How could I forget about that? I'm always harvesting and showing you guys recipes, but then I forget to show you the food. I'm sorry. And there's my papaya tree. But thank you so much for coming over here and watching this video. Jesus loves you. And I love you with all the Jesus in me. Be blessed, beautiful.